Good morning, guys. Welcome back. We're to the channel. In today's video, well, it's a little bit different style of video. So, for one, the 6.0 is actually down here in the shop. We have a few things that we need to take care of with it, but I bought something. I bought something that's actually about the same size as my 300, and it's probably one of the larger things I've ever bought that didn't come with a pair of keys. So it is actually in here where I powder coat at. So let's go take a look first, and then well, we'll go take a look, and then I'll explain a little bit more about what we have and why. Okay, so we're in here, and I wanna explain first. So if y'all remember, in one of the 6.0 videos a few weeks ago, maybe a month or two ago, I mentioned I ordered a set of fabricated traction bars for the truck through a local company. I'm not going to say the company name, anything like that. This is by no means taking a dig at them or bashing them or anything like that, so let me just go ahead and get that out of the way. So, I got to talking to the guy, and I actually mentioned in, kind of buying into ownership of said company. It rocked along for a little bit, and he mentioned wanting to get out of it. He was looking at or getting into another business and wanted to just completely sell. So that's cool. He made me an offer. I told him, I need a few weeks. I got to make some room, whatever. So I made my room, and the guy just kind of went ghost. Now, it was a fabrication company. I've mentioned it in a few videos. Well, in the meantime, I've been coming up with ideas and all this stuff, and I was kind of just dead set on buying this business. And, well, as of right now, I still haven't heard anything from him. So, it is what it is. I got on Marketplace, I started looking at machines. The biggest part of that business that I wanted was a CNC plasma cutter. What he was going to use to make my traction bars. Now, if you haven't noticed, I still haven't gotten them. That was in January. It is now March 26th. So, I don't know. And then I noticed he started advertising stuff, so maybe he decided not to sell. I don't know. I haven't heard anything. I'm still undelivered last time I checked. But anyway, I got on Marketplace, started looking around at a few CNCs, and I found a similar system what he has. I found a Langmuir Crossfire Pro in Texas. Actually, right down the road from where I bought the insulation for the new powder oven. So hit that guy up. Was talking to him, and I told him, said, I can get down there on this day, whatever. And same thing, dude just kind of goes ghost. A couple days later, pops up, sold. Well, in the meantime, I found this machine here. So, if y'all have followed me for a while, there's an off-road shop that I used to kind of be there all the time. I did some promo for them, all that kind of thing back 2016, 2017, back around there. I was supposed to have had a job. That's a whole story. We're not going to talk about it. That man is the reason why I'm a business owner, and not for the right reasons. But nonetheless, the guy that started that company, not the guy that, all the stuff happened with, but the original guy, the original owner, I noticed on Marketplace had this machine. This is an MFM Industrial CNC. Now, the insulation, don't mind that. I had to make some room here because actually where this pallet jack is sitting is where I normally powder coat. So we're kind of having to redo a lot of things. And this is massive, and it took up this entire bay from pretty much the door to the wall. So that wasn't gonna work, obviously. So I got it moved around. Shout out to Harbor Freight for the car dollies. Those came in super handy, and no, I'm not sponsored by Harbor Freight yet. It would be cool if I was, because I do spend a lot of money at Harbor Freight. But nonetheless, y'all know this is where the new oven was gonna go. Now, I'm looking at building a new shop. I'm actually working on, getting all that stuff figured out. So for the time being, until that's built, this is gonna live here, and we're gonna put the oven on pause. But, like I said, this is an MFM Industrial CNC plasma table. You can see there. It does have a machine torch on it, but it does not have a plasma cutter itself or a computer. Now, I know somebody's probably gonna say, well, we know how English. We know you have a computer to do the design. Yes, I do, that I make decals with and laser engraving and all that stuff. It is a desktop. It is not mobile, but I had a little bit of an idea. Also, we have some parts in for the 6.0, some stuff for the 300, but I have already figured that out, and, well, we'll just make this easy for y'all. I sat down and I ordered an HP business laptop. So, this has, the high RAM and all that stuff. So, this is what I'm going to be using for the designs and stuff. Now, I do need a computer. I actually talked to the gentleman who I purchased this from. He delivered it, and while we were unloading it, I kind of got to talk to him about a few things of software and computer and all that thing. And he said that the guys over at MFM are super helpful, and they sell a ready-to-use computer setup that kind of goes with the table. So I'm going to be ordering one of those. I haven't ordered it yet because, like I said, this is not going to live here. I've also looked, and I found a plasma cutter that I'm going to order, same kind of thing. I haven't yet because I'm not going to use this in here. Just for the simple fact of fire hazard, because I do powder coat in here. Everything is covered in a layer of powder coat dust, and powder coat is, to some respect, flammable. So I don't want to use a machine that makes fire in an open space that's not a super large open space that has powder coat dust all over it. Simply. So, and it's also kind of connected to my house. So, that's also that. But, like I said, I'm not going to be using this in here. This building is an 18 by 30. There's a powder coat oven sitting in the corner. There's, all kinds of other stuff in here. So, we're not using the full 18 by 30. And this machine has a working dimension of 5 foot by 10 foot. The overall dimensions of this machine is 7 foot wide, and it is either 12 or 13 feet long. The thing is massive. Like I said, it's very heavy. It's very well built, as you can see. The water table itself, I'll show you all on the water table floor thickness. It's a unit. It's heavy. As you can also see, the floor is not level in here. So that's another thing with the water table. It's not super conducive. Now, I also need to get some slats cut for this. So there's going to be a few things that I do to this. I also want to clean it up because it's absolutely filthy. So clean it up, get new slats cut for it. I also want to order new stepper motors. This does have torch height control, which is nice. But I'm going to order all new stepper motors, get all this wiring cleaned up, and all of that kind of thing, and get this thing ready to run. Now, you're probably thinking, why did you buy this? What is the purpose of this? So on and so forth. So, let me explain. So, the reason I bought this, and let's kind of go back to the Langmuirs. So the Langmuir machines, the Crossfire Pros, I've heard a lot of great things about. I'm not saying anything bad about them. I've never used one, but in the truck space, I think the Crossfire Pro is too small as far as the working dimension size. I think they're, if I remember correctly, either 2x3 or 3x4, something, something along in there. So if I'm going to be building traction bars, I have a few other ideas, but stuff like traction bars, that machine, unfortunately, is just not quite big enough. I know Langmuir offers a larger machine, but this table kind of just fell right into my lap. And it was also pretty cool getting to catch up with the guy. I know he doesn't remember me because at that time, like I said, I was, when I started going over there, I was 14, 15, somewhere in there. And I think around that same time is when he sold the company to the other guy, and he kind of moved on. So I remember him, seeing him around the shop, stuff like that. Super cool guy, super knowledgeable guy. And he moved on to, I think, 4-wheel parts, and then did a bunch of stuff there, and now he's doing his own thing with houses, and it's pretty cool. And actually a pretty good friend of mine and is like his best friend. So it was pretty cool. And like I said, this whole deal was really random and just kind of fell right into my lap. It worked. He already had the thing loaded on a trailer. It was too big for his shop. He ordered, I think, essentially the same machine, but about half the size dimensionally. So he had this one on a trailer, loaded up already. That's why he kept the computer and the plasma cutter itself, because he used that on the new machine. I don't blame the guy. So what I'm planning on doing with this machine is I'm planning on cutting truck accessory parts. Y'all know I have the Illumi-Duty, which the Illumi-Duty we're going to be starting on as soon as the new shop's built. So there's a lot of things that's kind of hinging on the new shop being built. But the Illumi-Duty, I'm planning on using this to make a lot of parts for. It's a good opportunity. I have a whole truck just sitting there that I can template off of. There's a full air ride kit that I can template off of. So on and so forth. The same thing on my 6.0. I have a ton of 6.0 parts just kind of laying around here and there. I have radius arms laying around. I have steering stabilizer kits. So on and so forth. I have a bunch of stuff around here that I can template off of, and that's kind of the gist. Is I would like to be able to take these things, put my own spin on them, and do that. Now, another thing, nothing against a lot of other people, but a lot of people with these tables, that is their primary thing is CNC cutting. And y'all know I do powder coating. There's a bunch of stuff back here behind me for the new oven. And I'm not just going to be cutting stuff out. You know, if somebody wants a sign or what have you, I'm not just going to be cutting parts out, spray painting them, and sending them out the door. I have a paint setup that I painted my 300 with, and y'all have seen I've painted taillights, headlights, and all kinds of other stuff. So I have, I kind of have the back end stuff as well, with being able to powder coat stuff and give a super nice finish to parts before they go out. So this is going to be a really nice addition to the business. So that's that. I also have some like merchandise type. I also have some merchandise type ideas that I can also cut with this. And this machine is big enough where I can pretty much cut, I think, whatever I want. Now, it's like the powder coat ovens. You kind of build the biggest you can afford to build, and you're still going to have to turn stuff away because it's not quite big enough. And I'm sure that's probably going to happen here as well. But for, you know, traction, like I said, traction bars, 4 links, radius arms, so on and so forth, I should have more than enough machine here to do so. So that's that. I'm also gonna try to build some shop type things. I'm not gonna get into as of right now. That way, if there's something that I end up not being able to do, it's not, oh, didn't you say you could do this? And then it's just a whole thing. So as of right now, the machine is just gonna kind of hang out here. Now, as far as the new shop goes, I am looking at buying a trailer. Actually, pretty quickly here. So, looking at that, I was talking to some people about renting some equipment, skid steer and stuff like that. I've talked to a few people about hauling in fill material or renting a dump trailer and hauling my own fill material in. So, I'm hoping, realistically, to get started on that around the beginning of this summer, and hopefully maybe have it finished by the end of the year. I got in here last night and I did a ton of planning, so I think the size, I think I've kind of locked in the size what I want and all that kind of thing as well. So this one is it's a big big investment. I'm not gonna say what we paid for this just for, you know, privacy. I guess the IRS will figure out what I paid for it at the end of the year when I go to do my taxes. But it's large. Like I said, it is it's one of the larger things that I've bought in my life. Like I said, that didn't come with a set of keys. So, like I said, guys, that's that's kind of the new addition. So, y'all let me know down below. Is there anything y'all would like to see? I've also debated on, so DS Customs. I think I'm going to do a different business type and change from the current situation to an LLC. And I've debated filing another LLC just for this as like a fabrication company, rather than having both under the same roof for tax reasons, and a few other reasons. But we'll figure that out when we get there. But is there anything y'all want to see me do with this? I know I've had some interest in signs and, you know, home goods, stuff like that. You know, metal-wise. But is there anything y'all would like to see with this? Let me know down below in the comments. Again, I'm not throwing shade at nobody. It's just kind of is what it is. So, like I said, I kind of got it made up in my mind that I was buying this fabrication company. It didn't really work out, but in the long run, I am going to essentially piece together my own fabrication company with larger equipment than what I was going to buy originally. Am I spending more money to do so? Absolutely. But in the long run, I believe it'll be worth it. So that's kind of that. But anyway, guys, I gotta go set up this new computer. Get that all set up. And if I like this computer, I'm actually gonna buy another one because there's another CNC that I'm looking at purchasing for DS Customs. More on that later once the new shop's built as well. It will be, well, it'll be brand new, and it'll take a couple months to come in. But if I like this computer, I will order another one for that. And the reason being is I just don't want to carry a computer back and forth between here and there. Because also this is going to be in a separate space. Actually, let me just go in here and I'll show it all on the computer. Also, as somebody is blowing me up on Facebook Messenger, I've gotten in a ton of DS Customs hats in all sorts of colorways. So I think we're going to be doing a business giveaway of some sorts here before long. So y'all stay tuned. I got to get pictures of all these and the different colors and all that kind of thing. We also have a bit of a teaser for the illuminated colors there. But now, let's get in here and let's take a look at kind of what I have planned for the building. Okay, so I'll turn the lights off in here. That way maybe it wasn't so difficult on the camera to kind of read things. But as you can see, I've framed out on the computer. I'm also kind of trying to talk quiet because the echo in here is pretty bad. So this is actually my main computer that I use for vinyl and stuff like that. But like I said, inside of the shop, we're gonna have a room for the CNC plasma with the welding table and stuff. Then the other CNC will have its own room, equipment shelves, toolboxes, room for vehicles, air compressor, all that kind of thing. So I'm doing a ton of planning here to try to maximize what we're doing. I know it's inevitable if I keep growing, I'm going to need a commercial space, but I'm trying to do what I can here for right now. That way I don't have to worry about security issues and stuff. As you can see, also planning on a mezzanine for other storage. But anyway, I just wanted to kind of show that, kind of document it. Again, it's the 26th of March 2025, and well, we're going to see where this whole deal goes. So anyway, guys, that's going to be a wrap for this one. So if y'all enjoyed today's video, please drop a like and comment down below. Smash that subscribe button. Thanks for watching, guys, and I hope everybody has a great day.